Oh, shut up.
Whee!
Okay, I think we finally got it all squared away.
Success.
Very much so.
Also, let me know if it's super obvious. I'm like not looking at you. I tried to get my camera as close to where I'm
Oh
seeing you
no,
as
you're
possible.
fine. It's totally okay.
Just so I'm not
We're
totally staring
yeah.
off into the
As you
void.
notice, it's kind of a hot mess on this side right now.
Hey, life's a hot mess. We might as well record it,
I
right?
have fun with it while you can, I guess. It's been a day.
What else can you do?
So, I did a deep dive into your songs this past week.
Oh dear God, I'm so sorry.
I liked what I heard. I did.
Yeah,
I did. Yep.
I'm glad to hear that. And do you have a favorite?
Pride and
Something stick
Prejudice.
out?
That
Nice.
one.
We didn't get to that.
That's a crowd.
That
favorite
one
for
is
sure.
on my playlist. Now it made it to the playlist.
Nice. Well, thank you.
I do. I like that one. I was doing emails one night, and I just had the music going in the background, and it came on. I was like, "Ooh, like I like this one." It has.
Heck yeah, that one is for me. That one was 100% for that like third verse. That plant your feet on railroad ties, kiss your ass, mom goodbye. That's the whole song for me. That's the whole point of it. And occasionally we sing the last chorus lyrics live correctly because I wrote the double chorus at the end. The first half is different from the whole rest of the song. Pat and I can never remember which one comes first. So 50-50 chance you come see us live. We might actually remember the lyrics to our own music. Maybe.
You know,
We're not at a level where we get teleprompters yet, okay? So
you're okay. I've been to, since I work at a local venue here where I live, there has been times that they have stopped in the middle and he was like, I totally forgot the lyrics to my own song. You're okay.
Yeah. Yep. I've gotten pretty good at just saying watermelon, until they come back.
I was going to say, I think it's okay to forget once in a while because the show really does go on. You just
Exactly. And it's usually we're just in entertain mode, in show mode so hard that it either take like I won't notice that I forgot some lyrics half the time until somebody that in the crowd that knows them better than I do is like, so what, are you taking some liberties with that verse? I'm like, apparently I don't know what happened. I'm just here to make noise, man.
I think I would be like, were you not having fun?
Exactly. That's what. Yeah. Are you not entertained?
I didn't know you were the music Nazi.
Gonna go full gladiator on him.
Right.
That's a good call. I'll start bringing a sword.
Karen's not needed. No.
Let me turn my volume up just a
You realize
there we go.
your Google's still playing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, go shut it off. I can't hear it.
I can.
So, I am kind of curious though, about when you first sent me the message through Facebook about jumping on and having a chit chat. You called yourself a pop punk millennial core.
What does that mean? What does it mean?
Yes, we need to know.
Yeah. Okay, so we all grew up, like everybody in the band is Blink-182, okay. Green Day, American Idiot, My Chemical Romance, like late 2000, early 2000s, like basically the Warped Tour sound, for lack of a better word, right before it stopped. Like that's what we all like love in our heart of hearts, kind of grew up with. And like the first Outside Kids EP was just, I'm an audio engineer, producer by day. I do front of house for bands, just audio in general. So that first EP was a challenge to myself. Just, can I make something that I want to listen to? Can I write good enough music and record it well enough and mix it well enough that I feel like I'm contributing to this genre, quote unquote. So it was like Green Day with guitar solos. That's how I always described it. But when I met these guys, the rest of the band here, we've been playing together for about a year. Again, this started off as a studio project for me. Outside Kids was an excuse to just, you're glowing. It works.
Give me the remote.
From my teeth. Biting my tongue.
But yeah, so like long and short of it, like pop punk was like pop punk or post pop punk is what I called it when it was just me. But now that all of us are in writing together, like we all have the same musical inspirations and influences. We come at it from different angles, but in general, we all love so much different music that the stuff we're writing, yeah, it's pop punk at its heart, at its core. It's pop punk song structures, and like we all jammed out to New Blink and all that kind of stuff. But
You can
like,
do less now.
okay, a rehearsal we did 2 weeks ago, we for an hour and a half, our Pat, the tall guitar player in our band, just yelled jazz, and we just like freeform improv a bunch of noise. That was our rehearsal. We didn't get one freaking thing actually accomplished. So it's like millennial core is our excuse to just do whatever the hell we feel like without having to justify it based on genre, honestly. And it seems the most accurate for what we're actually doing, because it's like, if you identify as a millennial in any way, shape, or form, you're going to hear the DNA of even the new stuff that we're doing. It's not genreless, but it's post pop punk is probably the most accurate. But it's way more fun to say millennial core. I think that's where it came.
Because
from.
I tried to look it up, and it just kept coming back to a lot of those like late '90s, early 2000s bands, and I'm like, he's gonna have to explain this to me. I want to know what their classification for this is.
The other thing, having worked in audio and music as long, like my entire adult life, I've worked in studios or worked front of house with. I don't hear genre really that much. Like I can, I can identify on certain instruments and different things, and I can play and perform within whatever genre if I'm hired as a studio musician. But like when I'm writing stuff, I don't think in terms of like, this is going to be a pop punk banger or anything. I just write the thing and write it for what it is. And then after the words, people ask me, what does this sound like? And I'm like, it sounds like this song. I'm bad at genres. That's really why it's called millennial core.
Made your own.
I know you're hoping for like a real deep meaning, but ultimately it comes down to the fact that I suck at naming
no,
things.
it's totally, you know what? If you come up with a brand new genre list out of this, it's awesome. We just go with it.
I'll take it. Well, okay. What would you call it? Maybe that's a better. I feel like you might have a little more expertise in the parsing out names of genres than I do.
We just call it underground in our world.
Done. Underground millennial core.
You're not on a major label. You're self-promoting your music. You're doing all of your own booking shows. You are what we look at as the underground music scene. It's where all of those big bands, they came from right where you're at.
Exactly. Literally, this is the room we tracked the single "Get Over It" that we're about done with. That's why I reached out. Music video's about done. I'm literally, when we're off our podcast today, I'm jumping on with my mastering engineer and finishing that. But we recorded, produced, and mixed it.
So to us, underground is the encompassing genre for all of those. Like nice. You would work at the bar venue that I work at, and it's not a venue where genre is a concept. We went to a show there last night, and it was fun. She wasn't like, her music wasn't heavy. It was kind of mellow, but it had a good beat. And I'm still in my brain. I'm like, this is true underground.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So
yes. I like that. That's a good classification. Like it doesn't like any Spotify playlist I have or music that I'm obsessed with at any given moment, it doesn't matter what genre it is. It's just good or it's not. Like, I can't mow the lawn without listening to Prof. Like that's just how it goes, because Prof is great music, and now it's my lawn mowing music. I don't know what to tell you.
I listen to music, or I'm either listening to music or podcasts while I'm at my day job too, and so there are just certain when I do house home cleaning, and so in certain houses I have like a certain music I listen to, so I get that. You're like, well, this is my lawn mowing music.
Nice.
Or like when I
get
a tattoo, this is my tattoo music.
I got a playlist for work where it's like my morning, my afternoon, and then dinner rush.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly it. I could probably do that by caffeine levels. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Morning. Okay. This needs to be mellow enough not to take this caffeine overdose into like overdrive. And then as that wanes, now it needs to be heavy enough to keep me awake. And then, yeah.
All the time.
I
I
could do
love
that.
it.
Wait, so what's your venue or your local
The
venue
local
you're
venue
talking
that
about?
I work at, it's called Motorco Music Hall. We live in Durham. I live way out on the East
Heck
Coast of
yeah.
North Carolina, and we have like 3 city promoters that we work with at our venue. And then on occasion, there will
Nice.
be like just like a one-off. It'll be
Okay.
we have several employees there that all have bands, and they'll like put just a random summer show together, and we'll have just a bunch of local
Nice.
bands come in. So I think that last night's was put on by Ann Morrigan is the name of the promotion
Gotcha.
company. It's a good sized venue. It holds about, I think last night's show had 350.
I think that's what they said.
Nice.
So
heck yeah. That's a proper
yeah,
proper rock
it's
club.
and it's just a great big open space with the bar kind of towards the back. So
Yeah.
if I'm working
Nice.
a show,
That's
I have good access to see the stage for the most part.
nice. And what's your role there?
I'm a
when you're
bartender.
working the show.
Yeah,
Heck yes. You are my favorite people at clubs by far.
I
As a former
have started using my bartending to score swag.
Nice.
I
Smart.
will go up and
That's
be like, I'll swap you a couple of shots or a drink for some stickers, or I've got a couple different items back here on my shelf that we're going to use for raffles later that I have acquired with
nice.
shots.
Yes, heck yes. That's the way to be. Yeah, former bartender myself. That's like how I supported starting studio work and everything else, unpaid internships and whatnot. That was like, it's the most unsung and important role at any club. Like the quality and caliber of the bar staff that you have at your venue is going to set the tone for the whole day, both for the band and for the audience. So you're doing the Lord's work, Kitty.
Thank you, babe. I do
course.
like it there, and I get to. It's really for me kind of taken my small box where I was at for music, and I've expanded that so much, which is how we ended up where we're at right now, having a conversation with you.
Nice. Yeah. How did the podcast start? I'm always curious.
Because of where I work. It's pointing at me. I had gotten into that point where I was like, I really want to start a podcast, but I don't know what I want it to be. And then we got together talking music one day, and I was like, oh, that's it. That's what I want to do. I want to talk to musicians, and I want to spread their music. So that's,
well,
you're welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah. For me, it has become that. I want to share what you guys do with the rest of the world.
Nice.
Same way you spam me.
Well, on behalf of all the underground millennials.
Yes.
She's always spamming me with new music from the bar. She'll be there. She'll be like, oh, this band sends link. And I'm like, click. And that's how it all started.
Listen right
now. I'll be like at work, and I'm like, oh, you've got to check out this band right now. And I'll find them on YouTube and then send the YouTube link over. And so when you reached out, that was one of the first things I did. I went and I found a link, and I was like, okay, I'm going to share this link right now. Go check them out.
Heck yes. Man, if it was YouTube, I was going to say, that's probably some old stuff.
It works.
Our YouTube has been wildly underutilized. I got to get on that. We have so much more concert footage from recent shows I haven't put on YouTube yet. You were reminding me I should probably, as the de facto band manager, social media manager, videographer, producer, mixer, blah, 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 blah. There's occasionally a few things that fall through the cracks. I'm sure you can relate.
Ours was TikTok. It's okay.
That's because you don't know how it works.
Yeah.
I'm like, I cannot
it's the way it works.
Handle.
The way it works for us, I got Instagram pretty well. Like I feel comfortable in that. So anything I push to that, I just export it, same tag, same everything, and copy and paste it into TikTok.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
Learning curve.
I mean, I don't know if it's working, but yeah, it's an uphill battle. It's
So I did
all the.
Notice you guys are relatively new.
So this is the complicated part. So I started the project again as a studio project in early. I mean, technically, 2 of these songs I wrote like in high school. So depending on how you want to look at it, but the first EP I recorded in 2018 and released 2019, and that was just me in the studio. Again, I'm a session musician and play music for a living in a bunch of different ways. So when I put that EP out, I just had buddies play the show. I was living just north of San Francisco at the time, so I had a bunch of musician buddies there come play that show. That's most likely the YouTube video you saw. And then pandemic happened. I grew up in rural South Dakota. I was born in San Francisco, but I grew up eastern South Dakota in the middle of nowhere, town of 600. Shout out Hutchinson County, Trip, South Dakota, all 16 of my graduating classmates. Wow. So long and short of it is my dad lives on the other side of South Dakota in Rapid City, a slightly bigger town. COVID happened and the whole music scene in Northern California and Bay Area, all of California just shut down. So the venues I was working at running disappeared overnight, no shows, no nothing. So 9 months into that, I moved back home. And over the course of recording the next single, Where I've Been, that I put out then, and working on the Dirty Faces record, the full-length record that Pride and Prejudice is on, I started going to open mics here, and that's where I met my band. Actually, the drummer of another awesome band out here called Camp Comfort, they just got back from a run through Minneapolis and Wisconsin and back. I'm their front of house engineer. So I met their drummer running a show for them. And next morning, he came in a little hungover to pick his gear up at the venue. And I was just shooting the shit with him. I was like, you like pop punk? And he goes, I love it. I was like, do you want to play it? And he goes, yeah. And that was a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And that's literally how like the actual band started. So honestly, that's like, I haven't put a ton of effort or really thought about or cared a whole heck of a lot about getting our music out there. Like it was a passion project. It was a studio challenge for myself. Primarily, like I was just doing it because I could and I wanted to see if I could. But now that there's an actual, it's not just me alone in a room. Now it's 4 dudes alone in a room. It's way cooler. But now that there's a band there and it's a collaborative effort and the music is so much better because of that. And it's like this is why I'm in this effort to meet folks like yourselves, people that are looking for new music from people that are unknown. I believe in the new song that we're doing, which I need to send you. I'll send you the mix that I get the moment we're done here. I'll send you a copy of it. Obviously you got to keep it to yourself till June 7th when we release it. We're opening for Brook Lane. I don't know if you know that band, but big pop punk band out of the Midwest. Bigger than us.
Googling right now.
We are now. Right. Yeah. Now we have a mission because now we got to come out and play your venue. So I need to get working on a route to and from the East Coast.
Actually, I don't know if you watched or checked out the podcast episode that we released last week with Scott, but we had thrown it out there with Scott because Scott does, he is the frontman for Robots Rising in Sioux Falls.
Nice.
Great and he throws birthday parties every year in Sioux Falls for himself. And we hit him up. Nice. We were like, we want you to help us plan our 1-year anniversary next year at our venue here. So
heck yes.
There's every chance that you guys will get an invite to play our party.
That would be a blast. That'd be so much fun. And that Sioux Falls connection's interesting. It was, I haven't met him in person yet. Jrail, J-R-A-I-L.
He's
involved with 4 Winds. Yes. So he shared your guys' podcast like the day I was kind of planning out, like, we almost done with the song. We want to get it out there. And I was like, I want to find podcasts that are cool to like talk about this stuff. And the moment I thought that, I went on Facebook to, check socials and everything. And that was the first thing I saw was him sharing your podcast. I listened to a chunk of it. And I'm like, these guys are dope. Like, hey, do you want an unknown millennial core pop punk band from the middle of nowhere on your show? And you guys were gracious enough to say yes.
I was sitting there and I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, I don't know. What does it mean? Now we have the answers.
Well, okay. So you've heard Pride and Prejudice. You've heard some portion of like It Could Be is probably the song that's most indicative of like what our sound is. I mean, to put it into perspective, the last show we did for shits and giggles, we did a cover of Goldfinger's Superman, complete with a trombone player, buddy of mine. So like we've gone full ska. We've gone like indie sludge, like sludgy indie heavy. Like I'm a drummer at heart. Drums are my first instrument and first love. So like any complicated rhythmic metally stuff we'll get into, and there's no genre limit. So if Dirty Faces, if you listen to a couple chunks of that record, that's what I call millennial core. It could be it could be in Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, I did. I listened to, like, I looked you guys up. I even subscribed to your YouTube channel, and then I just shuffle.
Oh, thank you.
And it just plays through a list of all of the songs. And when
that should be
Pride and Prejudice caught my attention, I hit the like button real quick. And I listened to it quite a few times. And so when I, on a personal level, listen to music, I listen to what I call its danceability. If I was to take this song and put it on my platforms and jump on a stage, could I make this song make me money? And the answer to that song was 100% yes. I could put this with two other songs and I could make money on that set.
Nice. I think I'm going to redefine how I judge whether a song I'm working on is good or not based solely on that description. Platform danceability.
Does it have a platform danceability?
Yeah,
and it definitely did.
I love that.
So that was where.
What do you think that song's about? I love asking this question about that song.
I haven't heard it. I can't.
I read the lyrics. It popped up on a lyric video.
And for just so there's no pressure, there is no right answer.
There's no right answer. I kind of took it as it was kind of like I'm gonna do me and you do you.
Yep, that's the baseline. So this was the first song that created that record, and I was literally, it was like 3 a.m. It is a dumb story, but my little sister's pretty health conscious and an athlete. And she goes, "Hey, I take magnesium every night before I go to bed. I take 400 milligrams of magnesium. It helps me sleep like a baby. You should try it." I'm like, "Cool." So she mixes some magnesium powder in a glass of water and I go for it. Now, 3 hours later, I think I'm having a heart attack. And it's like, and I'm just like freaking wired. And what I don't realize, I'm sitting here Googling like magnesium poisoning, like what, and apparently if you're chronically low on magnesium in your system, it has the opposite effect of calming. It like jumps. It's like Motley Crue's Kickstart My Heart. Like I was like, oh, this is what meth must be like. Yeah. So in that completely over chemically stimulated state, the told you it was coming in to get out of the way, like cadence got stuck in my head. Like just like ADD repeat, and the whole song wrote itself in a magnesium fueled fever dream at 4 a.m. while I was debating waking my sister up and yelling at her for killing me with magnesium. So that's what that song's about. I don't know.
I love it.
But this is why I've had people go, this is like a protest song. This is like anti whatever I think it is. And I'm like, hey, yeah, that's exactly what it's about. It's like, no, I was yelling at my own system for not letting me sleep.
But the stories behind where the songs come from, that always makes it more interesting. So now the next time I listen to it, I'm gonna laugh, and then I'm gonna dance.
It's kiss your ass and mom goodbye. Who wants to live long anyway? That was like my mentality. I was like, fuck it, this is how I go. Like it's been a fun run. Magnesium sucks. Boo. Here's the song. And now, okay, just for any medical professionals that have tuned in, I have since got my magnesium levels like on par where they're supposed to be. And now magnesium does in fact help me sleep. I am so happy to report. So don't worry. I'm not dying. Good to know. I mean, I am dying, but at the same rate as everybody else, as far as I know.
That creeping, crawling slow.
But that is why I love asking people, like, what does that song mean? Because I don't tend to write that way. I don't write songs usually in a way where I'm just like, blah. Like generally there's something that I'm stuck on, I'm hyper fixated on, some emotion I haven't got out. There's something specific. And I tend to write songs like storyboards. So as soon as I have a character in mind, even if it's not like a verbatim character that's in there, once I identify the character of the song, then I can write the song. Like, again, it doesn't have to be referenced like a story or whatever. So that's why this song cracks me up, because it's one of my favorites from the record too. And a lot of people, it's their favorite one from Dirty Faces for one reason or the other. And I always have to ask, like, what do you think it's about? Like, what captured you? The lesson for me as a songwriter is sometimes you just got to not give a shit. Like, don't be precious about it. Don't try to make it into something. Just write some stuff down that you're feeling in that moment. And if you can capture that and go back to that moment every time you play it live, it'll
Practice that
translate.
imperfection.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So precisely, fake it till you make it. So if next time you do your platform dance, try like 400 milligrams of magnesium. It might be exactly what you're missing.
Maybe. I don't know about that.
That's like the hard. Also, that's millennial core. Like the hardest drug we did for this record was magnesium. So
that's good to know. That's another case of millennial core. So I do realize that you guys are actually playing 2 of the Four Winds festivals.
Correct. So I got to be involved in getting Four Winds into our town.
Okay.
So how did we meet Corey? Corey Church is the promoter for Four Winds.
I'm working to get an interview with him set up right now too.
Nice. I'll text him when we're done. I don't have any sway over him or anything, but I'll be like, hey, heads up. You should probably go do this.
Jarrell has put me in contact too, and I've sent a message out a couple times. I'm like, he must just be really busy.
He is absurdly busy, like insanely busy. He's got Four Winds, Omaha, Rapid City, and Sioux Falls.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so Camp Comfort is a reggae blues rock band based out of Rapid City. Again, we share a bass player and a drummer. I do their front of house and monitor engineering when they go on the road. Their manager, Mitchell Stafford, is the one who initially made contact with Corey about getting either of our bands booked at Four Winds, Sioux Falls. That's how we met and got Outside Kids on that bill. And then Mitchell basically single-handedly asked, cajoled, convinced, I don't know how it went, Corey to do Four Winds in Rapid City. So Mitch is running that. He's the promoter in charge of that in Rapid under Corey, and I'm front of house for the main stage there. So on that day, I get to mix, I think it's 12 bands on a Saturday, and I play in 2 of them.
So is it the same bands at all of them, or is in each city, is it a different set of bands?
Nope. Precisely. Each city is completely different. The Rapid City one is minus a handful of East River bands and 1 or 2 touring out-of-state bands. It's almost entirely Black Hills Rapid City musicians. Like a hometown crowd, kind of on purpose, just to get the word out, since it's the first time the events happened here. But the Black Hills is one of the best kept secrets in the local, the local state topography of music out here. I've been back for almost 3 years, and I never planned on staying. I never planned on, this was going to be a pit stop till I moved to San Diego to start an audio company with my business partner, one of my good friends. He's the mastering engineer I'm going to finish our song with today. But when I got here, I went to an open mic, and I was like, this open mic sounds better than most band shows. Like, what the heck? And then over the course of getting involved in the music scene here, there are, at my last count, 24 touring bands that are at least touring the local scene, traveling to Denver. Some of them are hitting Omaha. Some of them are nationwide, that are playing at a high level. Like, not like 24 bands like it's a garage band for fun. Like, they are original bands, mostly writing original music that is awesome in multiple genres. And it's the most vibrant, productive, and supportive music scene that I've been a part of directly. And, I cut my teeth in studios in LA and, Bay Area, and lived in Denver for a while, and have toured the Western US a bunch of times. It's that combination of Midwest, take care. I don't know if you guys have been to the Midwest very often.
We actually lived in Sioux Falls for about 12 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit. Moved. Okay. So I had no idea if I didn't know if I was talking to some East Coasters.
Yeah, we are now. I will visit South Dakota. I will visit. I will never
100%
move back to South Dakota. I totally do not get snowed on anymore. I do not have to own a coat.
Ah, you're a sunflower, aren't you? You're solar powered.
I hate the cold. Oh, I hate the cold. Planning to go back to South Dakota in October for a birthday party is my hell.
Ooh, torture.
I'm going. Yeah. I love those boys so much. But I'm like, do you guys know how cold it is there? I'm like, it doesn't get that cold here.
It's 45. Well, it's like 55 degrees out now, but with the wind, it feels like 45. And I got the window down here open because
It's sunny and
sunny.
85
Smells
here right
nice.
now. My son is going to come home and want to
Yep.
play in the pool.
Nice.
So I've
Yep. But okay, when you
been
live,
to Rapid City a
oh yeah,
couple
go
of
ahead.
times. I still have connections in Rapid City, but it's not the part of the world I want to be in.
I totally get that. I'm on a one-man mission to get the word out to bands coming from your neck of the woods, coming from Sioux Falls, Minneapolis, Fargo, anywhere in North Dakota, Minot. Basically anyone that's trying to get from the eastern side, other side of South Dakota over to Denver. Most folks either try to book a show like Sioux City, Omaha, and then Denver. But Omaha, I don't know if it's harder to book or just has less venues, but folks need to realize there's half a dozen to a dozen venues in the Black Hills that have live music 5, 6, 7 nights a week. And it's not like it's going to be your biggest sold out show, but it'll be the most hospitable. And like as a stopover, like gap filler of a gig to get you to Denver, I've never been a part of a community that's better suited for that. Like everywhere, every band from a low B to like about to hit A level, they would play at the park, 707 the park, or potentially the Monument. That's like the arena. All the way down to like DIY backyard punk shows, like at the skate park. There's a couple guys that take care of that. Like there's a slot for every single band to do that. And yeah, having lived everywhere else and having done the 10-hour drives between venues, because I didn't think there was any gig in between that, like anybody listening, come to Rapid City. We'll put you up at a good show.
I will definitely.
At the very least, feed you Chislic, then tell you what Chislic
Oh.
actually is. It's not beef, goddammit.
It's
Chislic is
lamb.
lamb, specifically mutton. Yes. Okay. You got. This was how I was testing to see if you actually lived in Sioux Falls.
Technically it's supposed to be lamb. Where is it? There's actually a Chislic festival in one of those tiny soup or
Tyndall.
that. Yep. I was like, in what? Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. It's a big weekend festival, and it's all about the Chislic.
We
And
never
Coogan,
went.
You gotta have Coogan.
I've been robbed.
I mean, okay. Like if you guys just text me an address, a mailing address. Next time I'm going East River next week, I got 40 pounds of Chislic in my freezer. It's easy to pack on dry ice.
Chislic
Just
Alex. Stop right here dancing in the seat.
We'll get you hooked up.
So funny.
Yep.
I'm a fat kid at heart, okay? I may be tiny, but I love food. Food is life.
Very much.
Especially Chislic. Can't go wrong with that.
I mean, my Oreos are
man.
right down there. They were
Yes.
too loud. I had to stop eating them.
Hey, don't hold back on my account. Like, have at it.
This kid over here is definitely a fat kid at heart for being like, we'll be at work and send me like a picture standing on the flour scale, and it's like, I know it lies. I've got 5 pounds of phones in my pocket. I'm like, oh my goodness. Beanpole kid, but can put down the food.
Yeah, I got that appetite, but I have to balance it out with a lot of running around because I ain't got that. I got German Czechoslovakian metabolism. I'm supposed to be throwing bales and die in my 40s.
No, we're not gonna think that way.
No, we ain't gonna do that unless I eat too much Chislic, and then in which case I'll die happy at least.
Tacos.
What? Okay, so when you guys were living in Sioux Falls, you guys were there long enough. Like, what era? What years was this?
We actually just
roughly?
moved at the very end. I literally left Sioux Falls on December 31st, 2020.
I left like 6 months.
Oh
the
wow.
other.
Okay, gotcha. So right in the midst
Yeah,
of the shit.
we
Yeah.
I got a better offer in North Carolina, and I was like, peace out,
sense.
snow. It snowed 7
Later.
inches the day they brought the trailer to pack up my stuff.
Holy
The day we left,
moly. Yeah,
it snowed another 7 inches. I was like,
wow. South Dakota was just seeing
Yeah.
off. It's reinforcing the decision.
I was like, I'm
Oh
out.
man. So I'm always curious, what was Sioux Falls when you were living there? What was Sioux Falls' perception of Rapids music scene during that time?
A lot of the shows that we got to see were mostly bands coming from Omaha and Minneapolis.
Makes
So
sense. There it's weird. I grew up East River, so eastern half of South Dakota. It's so weird to me how much people act like they're that separate. like especially pre-COVID. Like I feel like, so I know bands in Aberdeen that are doing really cool stuff. I know bands in Pierre doing cool stuff. I know bands in Sioux Falls. Like I know bands, not even like bands in our genre, like this whatever made up millennial core pop punk inspired. We all wanted to be Billy Joe Armstrong or Tom DeLonge, basically. That's what it is. But I was just curious if this resurgence, like this renaissance of just live music in the state, is a direct result of COVID. Like a ton of us went off to different locations to pursue music careers, to learn our skill sets, whatever, and we all turtled home because of COVID. Now that's what's happening. I was just trying to figure out where it came from and why it wasn't there when I was in high school.
My theory on the turtling home, as you call it, is really because I think it's because of a lot of the states shut down so drastically, and South Dakota did not.
100%. Yes. I mean, that's why I came home because I had family here. And the offshoot of that was I came home at the end of COVID too. So like all the restrictions everywhere were starting to lift. But even if the restrictions in Cali had lifted, like 3 of those 4 venues are still permanently shut down. Like they just got sold and turned into whatever.
Really felt like South Dakota didn't take nearly the restrictive precautions that so many other states did. Like North Carolina was still masking anytime you went into a store when we moved out here at the end of 2020, going into 2021. You were still
it's just
like going into restaurants and wearing a mask until you sat down. Like those restrictions were very much in place.
It was interesting to me because there's only a few people, musicians, and a few bands I know of that are not natively from South Dakota or the Midwest in some way. Like they went to high school here, like they had some personal historical tie to the area. There's only a couple of folks that moved here intentionally from a different place. The thing that surprises me the most is that there was this much native born South Dakota musical and technical talent. There was this many front of house engineers that have built amazing venues in the Black Hills and in Sioux Falls. There's this many musicians that could have started bands here, but because we all grew up in a town or in a state that was just small enough to feel like it had no opportunities, we all went elsewhere and learned how to do the things we do. And then all that happened, we all came back. And now to see what people are doing with those skill sets back at quote unquote home, that's the part that's fascinating to me. Like, and it's fascinating because there's no music industry here. So like the LA backstabbing, like I personally hate LA to a degree that like I'll bring up in therapy next week. But like the Midwest mentality of like take care of your neighbor and have a conversation with a stranger to a certain extent, combined with everybody trying to play music together, has just fostered this really open, at least out here, this really open and supportive music scene, to the degree that like a band last minute can't make a show. It's not like the show gets canceled. It's the promoter just makes phone calls. The band texts all their buddies and one of us pops out of the woodwork and goes and fills the slot. Like it's that kind of stuff.
That happens at our venue on occasion too. We'll have like all of a sudden somebody's like, hey, we can't make it. And the word will go out and they'll find like a local band. Sometimes it's a high school band. We've had a couple of like groups where it's just the high schoolers. They have got a band. None of them are 21 yet. So they're all sporting their red double-handed stamps on the stage rocking out. And I'm like, props to you. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Corrupt the youth and get them into music young. That's how it goes. That's the best way to do it. Yep.
For sure.
That was first band I was in, first touring band. We did West Coast tours. Our drummer was 17. So most venues we played, we had to sneak him through the back, and then he would play his show and then immediately leave and get back on the bus while we did everything else. Like he couldn't set his own drums up. He couldn't do, he just physically wasn't allowed. Now, luckily he was like a gangly, tall kid with a big old Adam's apple. So we wouldn't like show him to anybody until it was dark. So you couldn't see that he was a child.
And that's
like
one of those things that has changed now though, because a lot of venues are all age venues. So you can have those,
which I think
you can have a band that is under 21 and they can still play the venue.
Yep. That's the way. That's Dave Grohl's quote always comes to mind with that. He goes, music shouldn't be gate kept. You shouldn't have to be a certain age or whatever. Like you should just get in a room with your friends and suck and then do that for a bit and then get on a stage in front of your other friends and suck more. And then eventually go on the road and suck in different cities. And then you become Nirvana. Like that's what they did. That's flat out. Like that's how it should be.
Agreed.
in my opinion.
No,
But,
I agree.
yeah.
That's,
Yep.
you know, you have to take those steps and learn along the
Yeah.
way.
Yes, you do have to care about what you're doing at some point. But like, you know, the whole reason you start a punk band is because you don't know how to play an instrument, but you want to be loud. Like,
Okay.
that's it.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
You know?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's not how I would ever have thought about it, but okay.
Me neither.
Well, that's one of them. Like, the beauty of punk to me is it's such an accessible genre to perform. Like, by definition, it's not what gear you play or how well you play it. It's just what you have to say, and how you say it. You know, like you pick millennial core or pop punk. Like pop punk has some very specific ish. You know, your drums should sound sort of like Travis Barker, and your hooks should sound kind of poppy like Green Day. Like you could make arguments like that.
Okay.
You know, it's not restrictive per se, but if you want it to sound like the genre, you got to do certain things. Like
True.
punk in general,
I like it.
I don't think anyway. But I think ultimately that's what Pride and Prejudice is more of a punk song.
It's danceable.
Maybe.
It's danceable.
Dance
Yep,
punk.
it's danceable.
Yeah.
So when I get the new single,
Oh, man.
I will immediately tell you whether or not it's danceable.
I would love to. It's definitely heavier.
And I love.
We lean into the core
For
portion.
me, I love a good heavy song though. I really
yes.
my music genre kind of goes from like one end to the next, so I can do the ballads and turn around and mash it with something super heavy and be just as happy in either place.
Heck yes. That's this song. So the song we're promoting, the song you'll hear is called "Get Over It." The song started because we're all sitting in rehearsal, all back in this town, and we're kind of like, man, like I got to find my like teen angst again. Like I don't even hate this town anymore. You know, everyone hates where they grew up, sort of thing. So the first lines of the song are, I used to scream and shout about shit that I don't care about. I don't even hate this fucking town now. And then the whole song is basically us saying things like that, these different like little emotional changes that we felt since living here, growing up here. And then the chorus is us yelling at ourselves to get over it. And the drive behind that chorus was we got done with the show, and then right after, one of our buddies' bands went up, and they just write these anthemic feeling choruses, like anthemic to the degree that like people have never heard them will just shout nonsense along with the choruses because it just feels right. Like they don't even know the words. So I was like, I want to write a chorus that people can scream with us, and Get Over It was where we ended up with that. But
I like it.
Yeah.
So this new EP is going to be followed by a new CD.
That's the plan. So we wrote this one song just in rehearsal in between getting ready. We didn't plan it. We played 50 some shows last year, 50, 60.
That's a lot of shows,
I think. And we didn't plan on, and the band started in January, like 5th. So it started in terms of like all of us playing together, and our current lineup, we didn't even have, we were a trio, and our now guitar player was our bass player. And our now bass player was the bass player in Camp Comfort, who was our fill-in. Whenever our other bass player couldn't make it because he's in another band or busy, he'd be our fill-in, so we could keep calendar dates and open up for Camp Comfort and whatnot. And we got to the end of the year last year, and we're like, why don't you guys both play? It'd be so much easier. And all the songs I wrote are 2 guitar songs anyway, so now we became a 4-piece, and everything just makes more sense. But sorry, ADD meds are wearing off. I'd speak primarily in digression form. So we wrote Get Over It, and in the course of writing that one, Pat switched back to guitar and rediscovered all these gems that he had written like 10 years ago. Just unplaced, just these little like pop punk verse choruses that just felt great. So we started working on them and incorporating them, and then us being us, like he had some lyrics that weren't finished. And he's like, yeah, there's this one line about like being blind or not seeing something. We're like, oh, so like Helen Keller. And then somebody, I think our drummer, Zach, went, do you know Helen Keller is immune to flash grenades?
Okay, now that reminds me of the way that Fall Out Boy sometimes writes their music.
But didn't she fly a plane?
That's the name of that song because of that. Exactly. So that's verse 2 is that that line.
Yep, that's...
So over the course of screwing around with like our where we're at as a 4-piece and everything, we're about, if you count the ones I've started that we haven't like really worked on yet, we're probably 8 songs deep into new material. we've got 4 new ones we play live, including Get Over It. And again, we're limited literally by how much free time I have in this room to record them, because I do record a lot of the local bands. That's my day job. So it's just me having enough time to record us instead of like paid work. But yeah, we'll be sending you a lot of music, and you have to tell. I'm actually going to send it to you before like the demos are done, so you can tell me if it's danceable or if I got to like up the danceability or not.
I will totally take that task on.
Heck yes, thank you. Oh man,
that's exciting. I'm actually excited for all of the new music, since I did add you to the playlist and I like listen to it. I'm like, I like what I hear. This is so cool. Maybe one of these days we'll get back for a show there in the Midwest.
That would be a blast. Or okay, well, how about we race you? We'll race you to. We'll try to get to you before you get to us.
Deal.
How about that? Like that challenge? I'm into that.
I can definitely.
And you have
put you in contact with the 3 promotion groups that come and book at our venue. Absolutely, 100%
awesome.
Get you hooked up with them.
That would be, that's half the battle. As
yeah,
you know, that's half the battle
just,
for any band trying to do something out of their hometown.
I had found out that like our bar had booked and promoted a show at a different venue last week, like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
so
wow.
a lot of times there's so many venues that are also close in where we're at in what's called the RTP.
Nice.
It's the like Triangle area, Durham, Raleigh, Chapel Hill.
How many people have that tattoo? At least one person.
Right, somebody has to. But we are going to go see one of our longtime underground bands that we've been following for 12 years? How long have we been fans of them?
Which one?
I Set to Kill.
Oof. High school for me, actually. Freshman year in high school, one of my friends was like, here, check out this song off of their White Lotus album. I said, huh? They're like, yeah. Sent me a link, and I'm like,
this is a core memory now.
Right. But they kind of like disappeared, and all of a sudden I got a notification that they were going to be at one of our local venues, and I'm like, oh,
nice.
Totally going. So yeah, I will definitely get some information and send it your way.
I'd be down. I was going to say, you've lit a fire into my butt. We have all of our new branding with the 4-piece. We got new photo shoot done. Our music video is about done. Like, I need to go revamp our YouTube and our website and everything. Because again, it's not just me sitting in a room anymore. I mean, right now it's me sitting in a room. I swear to God, I didn't imagine my other 3 bandmates. They like to do a bit where they just pretend that they're figments of my imagination. And I told them that doesn't work. You'd be a lot more colorful. You'd be a lot weirder if I was just imagining you out of the blue.
Like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
But yeah, we'll, exactly. Yeah, but I'll send you, I can email you like some of the new graphics and whatnot too. I don't know if you use them for promo
I
or
will
whatnot,
do
yeah, I definitely need to.
everything I can to throw your name out there.
This is why you're the best. You're doing the kind of work that makes it so bands like us like can do something.
That was what I want to do. That was my whole. The more I reach out and get the opportunity to build those relationships and chit chat with bands as they come through my venue, the more I realize it isn't about me, it's about you. It's about helping promote what you're doing.
That, and speaking on behalf of every band that knows better and every band at our level, thank you.
You're very welcome.
That's huge. It's in audio, in production audio, producing, playing instruments. I teach guitar lessons and piano to some friends' kids, mostly if they're like really cool kids, because I'm a kid at heart. But the thing I always say is like I can teach anyone to do anything I know, like I know how to do. Like I can teach the things I know. The thing I can't teach is how to give a shit. No idea how to teach them. And you do. Both of you guys do.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. You guys gave a shit enough to figure out the stupid camera. So
oh, I'm telling you, we're a hot mess on this side.
Not to bring it full
Bear with
circle.
us. Every time that we
it's totally
every
fine.
time that we get down here though and we do it though, it goes a little smoother every time.
Yep.
The conversation is smoother every time.
Yeah. Baptism by fire is the best way to learn most
For
things.
sure. So other than finding
Yeah.
your content on YouTube and Facebook, where else can they check you out?
Yes.
Spotify.
Every single streaming service imaginable, and some I've never heard of. The Outside Kids, we're probably going to drop the at some point because we went through that internal debate. But just search Outside Kids. Dirty Faces is the most recent record. The new song should be out 6/7. If you listen to us on Spotify, throw us on a playlist, hit the heart button. It's the same algorithmic nonsense that runs Instagram and everything else. Like, we don't really play the Spotify game outside of the fact that we're on it. But again, if we get on a playlist that blows up and that's how we get to go like on tour opening for a band that gets us out to you guys, I'll take it, you know? But yeah, all the socials. If you want to see us be idiots, go to Instagram. Go to Instagram and look for this room and you'll see us being in our natural habitat. You'll also see why if we were a species, we'd be endangered because we're pretty dumb, but we have fun.
I
doing
did
it.
check out some of those videos.
And yeah, right. Oh, I'm so sorry. You'll agree though that our drummer is the most photogenic member of the band.
Hey, you sent me down the rabbit hole when you hit me up for an interview.
I appreciate it. Well, we live in a rabbit hole, so thanks for coming down
You're
to join
very
us.
welcome. It's been fun.
It has. It's so nice to meet you both. I appreciate it more than I can put
Hi,
words
and
to.
we'll be listening up. Can't wait to get that new music, and then I'll send it out, and I will get those links set up for you.
That sounds perfect. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. And my people will talk to your people, I'm sure.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Hi, Undergrounders. It's Kitty here. We just wanted to jump on and make sure that we said a great big thank you to Matt and the Outside Kids for letting us be one of the first people to release their brand new song, Get Over It. We're super excited, and we hope you really like it as much as we did. Thank you, Matt, for coming on the show. Thank you, Outside Kids, for letting us share the music. We hope to see you guys around the block sometime. Have a nice night, guys.